Hi. It's been a while since we last spoke. Got to have a show, talk to you, so I'm back. I'm back to give you the factual truths. The Politically Speaking with Roland Keir show is going to enjoy the next 2 months, each week talking to you guys, letting you know what's going on. And a prime example of that is this week, the show, myself, we went out to Charlotte to the DNC. Technically, it was day one because it wasn't day one of the convention. It was day one. They had a festival where they got to interact with, at the grassroots level, with people on the street. Some of the people on the street that we got to talk to were volunteers that worked for the city of Charlotte to make sure everything's moving smoothly. Some of the people I met worked on Capitol Hill at one time for the Clinton administration, so now he's retired from that life. He still wanted to stay active in politics and do his civic duty, so to speak. So, the man was doing that. Another guy was in Florida during 2000 with the whole Gore and Bush debacle, so now he's like, I'm going to do my part to make sure things go as smoothly as possible, a different process like that. And he had all different people's parts of life, you know. It was just really interesting. It wasn't just a homogenized type of thing, a lot of different demographics, especially volunteers. One of the things that we were able to do is we were capturing on-the-street interviews with people. And you saw people talking about utilizing the bike as a form of mode of transportation and how you were able to better work with the environment, how you're able to have better health, which ties back to if you're in better health, you may have a greater need not to go to the doctor and spend as much money. So that was something that's going to be a really interesting thing you can see. There were people that you saw, a family man, you know, who had a very diverse background of children in his family, and he talks about why it was important to be a Democrat and why to keep voting for Obama and give this man a second term. We had a guy who ran for office in San Francisco many years ago talk about his own personal experiences. There was another person that had a great sign. I saw him walking, it was a downpour rain. And I saw him out in the middle of the rain, and the sign said, outsourcing is the entitlement we have to end. And it was a great interview, and it explains that in a lot of detail. And for people really on a high level, I'll give you this, we lost a lot of jobs with outsourcing. I'm not talking about NAFTA, I'm just talking about in general that was going on long before NAFTA over the last 30 plus years. If we have these jobs here, then the job creators are not going to go, well, we need tax breaks, and it trickles down all this stuff. Because if you stop outsourcing for pure profit and you have people here working, 70% of our GDP is based upon consumer spending. So if you're not outsourcing the jobs, the people are working, now they're spending money, it keeps going around back in that circle. And so what if a company doesn't have 30% profit margins, they only have 20%? But with that 30% profit margin, maybe they only made $1 billion in revenue and profit, but now they're making $2 billion in revenue and with a 20% profit margin. You know, profits is not job creating. That's the big thing. And like I said, this guy has a great point he makes, so you'll see that one. And, you know, there's some other interviews. One of the funny things we'll talk about later on after you watch these different interviews that we did on the street for the first day of the festival for the DNC is you're going to see me actually go to toe-to-toe with a Tea Party Republican. Impromptu, not scripted, and we just have point-counterpoint. But we'll get to that after we go through these real on-the-street grassroots interviews. See you in a bit. Good afternoon. We're here in Charlotte. We're at the DNC convention. It's day one. It's the festivals. The festivals are really a beginning to show the mosaic of what the Democratic Party can bring for America. And it's not just a festival of music, but there is a lot of other things going on here. It's platform related. They have people talking about job training. They have people talking about renewable energy with electric cars. They have people talking about incubating and doing incubator for new business and small business ventures and startups. Part of that is, like Obama gave tax breaks, 18 tax breaks for the small businesses of America. That's unprecedented. You're not really going to hear about a lot. A lot of things going out here are just showing how we all can work together to accomplish anything.
As a matter of fact, just right before the shot, you missed Fox News, what I call faux noise, coming through. And they're going to come out here and they're going to tell a lot of things, but they're not going to tell exactly what I'm saying. And that's part of what I do on the Politically Speaking with Roland Keir show, is to tell you about what's going on that they're not talking about. And so one of the things they had was Anthony Hamilton is an artist from Atlanta, Georgia, and he's giving the national anthem that already was taken. They had Janelle Monáe, an upcoming artist that's neo soul. They have chairman of the board also performing, and they have a great James Taylor who does great acoustic guitar. So it's a mosaic of different personalities to show once again the mosaic and non-homogenized representation of America through the Democratic Party. So what we're going to do, and you're going to see sporadically throughout, is show what we are here to do to accomplish moving forward from 2013 to 2017 with Obama's next term. And we're going to have periodic interviews, and we're going to talk to random people. We're not going to talk to the politicians, talking heads. We're going to talk to the real people of the party and what their goals are and what they care about and how we all can work together. That's what I want you to see on the Politically Speaking with Roland Keir show. See you in a little while. Speak me a diagram. Here it goes. All right, you ready? I'm ready. Hi, we're here in Atlanta again, back with Politically Speaking with Roland Keir, and we're here with BeCycle.com. We're with Lee. He's going to tell us about cycling and how this is really something as a health point, as a better for the environment, all the platforms that we would talk about, because this ties back to renewable energy, ties back to being healthier in our Affordable Health Care Act. This way our population can live longer and not be a grand society where we're having to pay for medical bills that were unexpected, so to speak, because we're doing better with our body and our environment. So with that said, I'm going to let Lee tell us how this works on a national scale. Terrific. Thank you. Well, great to have an opportunity to talk to you. BeCycle, ironically, got started about 4 years ago in Denver at the DNC. And Denver became the first national bike share program that was launched in April of 2010 for Earth Day. And came about as a result of the work that Trek Bikes did with Humana Corporation and Crispin Porter McGusky, three companies that believe in cycling, healthy activity, and bicycling being a fun pursuit of moving around in a community. Today there are more than 16 different BeCycle systems around the country. We have almost 2,500 bikes in operation today, and people are using them not only for just recreation, but they're using them to commute from an office location to a business meeting, or to come off of light rail and to get to their offices. So it's really becoming used in a variety of different ways. A lot of times it's a quicker way to get from point A to point B. It certainly is a healthier way because you're burning calories, and also a more fun way, we believe. Interestingly enough, as you can kind of see back here, there's been almost 40 million calories that have been burned this year by people riding bike share bikes around the country. So back to your point earlier, it's a great way for people to keep active and more healthy. It's pretty good. Out of 40 million here, what are your numbers like? How many people is that really doing it? What's the big number? What's the big number you really think of that 40 million of how many people that really is? In terms of how many people are being impacted by this? We would probably estimate the number of trips is almost 600,000. So you're looking at 600,000 people being directly impacted by that. So imagine if we could just multiply by 10 to 6 million, what kind of impact we can make on society and our environment long term. Well, I appreciate it, Lee. Thanks so much for your time. Thanks for coming by. Thank you. Right to our next segment. We're going to keep it more interesting stuff with Politically Speaking with Roland. Back again with Politically Speaking with Roland Keir. You know, we're talking to Glenn. Glenn, I saw him with his family. I was like, this is a great person to talk to because he's representative of what the Democratic Party is about. It's about inclusion. It's about a mosaic of diversity. It's about working together, opposed to what we saw just last week where everything looked the same, talked the same. Well, America is about a melting pot. America is about diversity. Diversity is not black, it's not white. It could be because you're from California and you're in Georgia. It could be because you're left-handed in your right-handed area. It could be because you're straight and you're around a gay community in Midtown Atlanta. It could be anything. It means outside the norm, bringing something different to the table. That is a true Webster's definition of diversity. So that's why when you're going to see the rest of the interviews we're doing, we're showing different mosaics of people. So that said, I'd love to hear why Glenn is out here in support with all his flair on. Tell us, Glenn, what are your feelings? Why are you out here? What are you hoping to gain from this?
Well, I live outside of Charlotte, and I'm volunteering for the camp or for the convention because I want to represent Charlotte really well. But I'm also a Democrat, and I also, I'm going to vote for Obama. I support Obama, and I just wanted to be here today to participate in this.
It's also a family event.
It's a family event. I got my family here, so it's fantastic.
What are the 2 or 3 points that you really are happy with Obama?
Well, of course, I think healthcare is number one. I mean, I think that in many ways he's overcome extraordinary odds in getting that passed, even with the Democratic Congress. I think it's remarkable that the country's still functioning the way that the Republicans have, effectively tried to completely shut down government. And of course, killing Osama bin Laden. I mean, what he's done on the foreign policy front is just really remarkable, considering the Democrats' traditional sort of were considered weak, and Obama, I think, has certainly
took it to the table.
Yeah.
Okay.
What shocks me the most, even if you don't like Obama, is the idea that Romney is really Bush reincarnated. I can't believe he wants to go back to exactly what we tried the last 8 years before Obama came to office, with very little success. We now have most families, we have 2 working people working 40 hours a week and still barely getting by. Something that's fundamentally becoming wrong in this country. And, we used to be an exceptional nation, but increasingly when you look at mobility, class mobility, we're actually now trailing many European countries in terms of getting ahead.
Very true.
And I just don't understand. A lot of Republicans say, well, we need to go back to where we were in the 50s. Some of them say perhaps in the 1500s, but those days were, we had unions, and even if you don't believe in unions, it was just that if you worked 40 hours a week, you were able to provide for your family and live well, live decently, and increasingly that's just not the case.
What are 2 things moving forward you want to see should Obama win re-election that you think that need to be done to help move this country forward?
I think we have to keep. I think we have to keep health care.
That's an important issue.
Absolutely. I think that people don't realize. I once had a friend tell me, an older friend tell me, that people make their decisions on where they're going to work not based on their salary, but based on health care coverage. And this was only 20 years ago, 15 years ago, and he is so right. You can't move, you can't start a job sometimes. I used to work in insurance sales, and we had people who had plenty of money, but because of a pre-existing condition, or perhaps their wife wanted to they wanted to start a family, we couldn't ever find them coverage for that. And how do we, it's one thing when there's a market for healthcare, but if there's no market for healthcare, and we have 46 million people who are not covered, then clearly the market is failing. We've got to find another solution.
Good talking points. And I guess one last thing you want to see moving forward to continue what we started.
I mean, there's so many things. I think really like to see just focus on the middle class. Helping the middle class get forward, move forward, become more financially sound, and as a part of that, pulling the reducing poverty in this country as well. Perhaps more minimum wage increases. Whatever sort of factors, so that it's not all going to that top 1 or 2%.
Those are all good things. We all need to keep what he's talking in mind. Glenn stated some very valid points. Stay tuned. We'll be back with more politically speaking rolling here and more people on the streets at the grassroots level telling you what really is the big politically speaking rolling here. We're going to speak to Dell. Dell's here in North Carolina. He's originally from San Francisco, and he moved here 10 years ago to North Carolina. And he's going to tell us why Obama. What does he like that Obama has done in office? What does he want to see continuing moving forward to improve our growing nation? With that said, Del, introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit yourself why you like Obama.
My name's Del Fincher. As he says, I'm from San Francisco. I'm an independent, so I am going to vote for Obama this year. I've listened to what both parties have had to say, and the reason I'm going to vote for Obama is because I believe that with New World Order, that we need to start to diversify and bring people together as a community all over the United States, so that this way we can help support the things that Obama have done for us so far. Obama has opened up the door for us to be able to have access to opportunities that we have been limited to for many, many, many years. And he's also taken risks. The Republicans told us many times that if we ever put an African American in office, that they would shut down businesses. Well, during this time, people have been able to stick together as a whole, not go out and riot in the community, or not go out and make it harder on other people out here who are struggling just like they are. And I believe that it's because of his compassion that people feel within him and his effort that people are willing to wait for the changes that he's making and that he's bringing. I also feel that he's going to be able to do a lot for us when it comes to mental health. Right now, as we can see, the Republicans and Reagan, after shutting down the mental health hospitals and getting rid of all of those hospitals that were available for mental health patients, now we have people running into movie theaters and shooting people who need mental help. We need to have these facilities back open. I think Obama can do that. I also would like to see that, with Mitt Romney in office, when people apply for a job and their criminal records are brought up, I believe that Obama will feel the pain of everybody out there who've not lived perfectly and take that part away from the corporate structure and allow people to truly be created equal when it comes to applying for job opportunities, not just by the content of their character, but understanding that no one is flawless. I also support Obama because I believe that in this lifetime that he's just opened up the door for many different walks of lives to sit in the seat that he's sitting in now. And we need that diversity, because if we do not take all of those, we don't take advantage of these opportunities and open the door for other people, other minorities, to come and sit in the same seat that he's sitting in, then it's completely contradictory to his effort. His effort is not to come in and change the world. His effort is to come in and allow the lower class and the poor and the middle class the opportunity to come in and build this country under what this country was founded on. Entrepreneurship, the willingness to work, struggle. When Republicans talk about entrepreneurship, they talk about using people to their advantage for their own capital gain. Now, Obama's capitalism and entrepreneurship creates the opportunity for the smallest people to succeed. And he's fair. He says, if you make $250,000 a year, then you ought to pay more money. I support paying for more money. If I got people supporting my business, it's only right for me to give back. So I'm going to vote for Obama this year, and I'm confident in my vote. And anybody out there that who don't want to end up homeless, anybody out there that don't want to see your daughters up in strip clubs, anybody out there that want to see your kids getting an adequate education, anybody that don't want to live in a police state, then I suggest that you support Obama so that this way we can continue to get old money out and move new money in and really create the diversity that the United States is supposed to reflect.
Thank you, Del. Very good. That was Del. Stay tuned for more Politically Speaking Rolling here. We're going to show you more feet, more grassroots thoughts, more divergence of diversity, more divergence of thoughts on a wider spectrum to show what we can all accomplish if we're working together. Stay tuned. Politically Speaking with Roland Keir. We're here with Jim. I saw him walking down the street here at the DNC Festival, and I just was like, I've been trying to nail this on the head with the dump page telling people on previous Politically Speaking Roland Keir things, telling you about 70% of our GDP is based upon consumer spending. And so my premise is, if you stop the outsourcing, you have the jobs here and the American base, then we're spending the money back into the economy with the 70%, and the circle continues. The job creator is not giving ultra-rich even more tax cuts, but it's making sure the American workers are working, therefore the consumer spending keeps going back around. But I really don't want you to hear from me. I want you to hear from the man who has a sign and hear his thoughts on it. So that said, tell us all about this and what your knowledge base is about.
Well, this is about, I want, where we're at now, I want to be the bottom, so to speak. I believe Democrats are our best hope, but I don't see either political party going to put tariffs back on unfair Chinese, etc. wages. So, like you were saying, we need, I mean, people in this country need money. And when all of our jobs, when everything you buy in Target, Lowe's, Walmart, Home Depot is made in China or somewhere else, that's our jobs. You know, we can't not make things, everything, we can't, it's not a functional system to have everything we buy made somewhere else. So we've got to bring back the jobs.
Definitely takes less than 4 years. Obama spent his time
Keep going.
So anyway, my idea is that we want to bring back the jobs. So part 2 of this is to help our political leaders choose the right path. And we go to this, where we start boycotting things, you know, like made in China or made in countries where we have a big trade imbalance. I've got a sheet in here that shows our, I mean, there's a government website, you know, the census.gov. It shows that our imports to exports with countries like China, with China it's 4 to 1. We buy 4 times more from China than they buy from us. And the one part they buy from us is largely scrap steel and cardboard to remake products to sell us. And it's also not fair to the people that fought, died, and killed for workers' conditions 100 years ago when we allow stuff to be made in other countries that don't have those same protections. You know, the people in China tried to rise up for better working conditions or wages. They're not allowed to do that. So it's a real disservice to our workers to make them compete with that, you know. I'm not against China at all. Hopefully, if we start putting tariffs back on there, if we start putting tariffs on trade imbalance, China has 2 choices. Either let their wages rise, and that'll balance it out, or if not, we'll put tariffs on it, and then we'll keep the money. So which would China rather do? If I was China, I'd rather let my workers just earn more to even it out.
Jim, that is 100% spot on. You know, if they start raising the actual pay they pay their employees, then the global market starts getting more competitive in regards to labor for work for products produced. And that's where we're losing it. That's why companies look at profit. They look at revenue. And I said this earlier in the show today, that if you got an opportunity to have 30%, let's say profit, but only $1 million in revenue, or you have the ability to get 20% profit, but yet you can double up and get $2 million in revenue, which one would you really want? Do you want the money, which is for the company, which goes back out, or you just want the profit? The profit is for the shareholders, stakeholders, and to ship the jobs over. This way people are getting cheaper goods, cheaper products, but they're not employing the base, which goes back to 70% of our GDP. That is a big picture. Anyway, like I said,
let me add one more thing, if I may.
Go ahead.
The worst part, too, is that I'm very convinced that companies that make things in China for a very cheap cost, they only sell, they don't pass most of that cost on to the American consumer. That's why the rich are getting so rich, because those people that benefit, that have factories in China, U.S. multinational corporations, they're selling that just cheap enough that we can't compete with it by paying $12 an hour. You know, so they're getting very rich, and they're, you know, getting all the jobs, you know, over to other countries. So we as consumers can stop that by starting up to boycott that. I'm choosing, my sheet here shows that I'm trying to start a
upload it,
boycott.
scan it, get it on the website for everybody can see it as well.
Okay. Yeah, so starting in honor of Dr. Martin Luther King, I would like to start a boycott the day he was assassinated, which he was killed on April 4th, 1968. So my idea is that the 4th of every month, we don't buy it if it's not made in this country. When enough people join that baseline boycott on the 4th, we'll start moving to more days. The 4th and the 5th, then the 4th, 5th, 6th, then the 4th, 5th, 6th, 6th, 7th. By the time we have about 5 days of much less people in Walmart, Target, Lowe's, Home Depot, our government will get that knock on the door to do something about it. And until they do, we'll just keep, even if they say they're going to do something, we won't stop boycotting until they do something. And that's it.
Thank you, Jim. Appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen,
Thank you.
Spoke with Jim. Turn the other side around so everybody understands. This is the big picture I screened on the Doug page and I screened on the show. This talks about what the big picture is. That's the key. That's the key. It's American jobs back home. America became great in quotations during post-World War II all the way up until the 60s because the manufacturing base in the middle class was built upon manufacturing. Just a fact. In America, we're GOP wants America great again, the good old days. Well, the good old days, ideally, are post-World War II to mid-60s, based upon that concept. So why don't we employ the American worker the way they wanted to, the way they said it made America great? That's the irony of it.
Exactly.
Thank you again. Stay tuned. We got another segment coming up soon.
Hopefully you enjoyed those different interviews and you saw basically an idea of what the platform and what the party's about. One of the things I hope a lot of people take away from seeing these DNC interviews is that, and also just on the street, is that it's not a homogenized party with the same pure ideological beliefs of purity. It is a catch-all of everything. You have different ethnic backgrounds, different races, different religions, different cultures, different sexual orientations. It's all about inclusion. It's not all we look the same, we march the same. It is a tent with a lot of different people trying to work together for the common good of everybody. That is the big picture that you see at the DNC.